Hello, Jamie here. Thank you for joining me for another round of yoga, another practice. Today's practice, I want it to be just sweet and accessible and doable. And as I always say in my practices, everything that I talk about, every asana or posture that I offer is simply that. It's an offering, it's a suggestion, it's an invitation. I like to be really clear that anything that doesn't feel right for you, just let it go. Let it be yours. Make it different if you need to. And a child's pose is always a really good sort of posture that is safe and restorative, and anytime that you're not feeling it, you can just go to child's pose. I know for me, at the beginning of my grief and the beginning of my recovery, a lot of postures and a lot of suggestions didn't float well with me or feel well or land well with me. I just kind of did my own thing, and that's why I think it's really beautiful that yoga can be brought right into your home, and you can just take what you need, and in the privacy of your own home, you don't need to feel uncomfortable with any posture or with continuing, or if you don't want to, or ending if you feel like it. So please just take what you can and leave the rest. I want to give a shout out to this little book. It's called Yoga for Recovery, a practical guide for healing, and it's by the Transformation Yoga Project by Michael D. Huggins and Andrew J. Moore. And this little book really helped me, even though I already knew how to teach yoga. I still really benefited from the beautiful words in this book about recovery. And many of you know that I lost my son. And so the trauma really was overwhelming. And so I started drinking heavily to try to, you know, not face my feelings. And of course, it makes everything worse. We all know that. But no shame, no shame at all. But this transformation yoga project is really awesome. It's a nice little book that shows a few postures, gives a little bit of information about how this project works. And even if you don't participate in their project, this book outlines what they do. And I'm just going to read this really quickly. I love this paragraph. It says, ultimately, yoga is a personal practice, so take what you need. Remember that each day your practice may look different depending on what you're going through and what you need. We provide alternatives and options in each section, allowing you to make adjustments for how you're feeling that day. And I can't say that enough. That's why I offer a couple of different options for postures if they're just not working for you on any particular day. And I love this. It goes on to say that there are no rules for your practice. There is no right or wrong way to do yoga. I will interrupt there and just say the caveat to that is, of course, unless it's an unsafe posture that where you could hurt yourself. So I think that's probably obvious, but just wanted to throw that in there. They go on to say, you may find that your practice evolves over time as you learn and listen to your body and honor the physical and emotional feelings that inevitably arise from your practice. For many practitioners, lessons learned on the mat are called upon to support them off the mat as they deal with life's stressors. Ooh, there's so much more. It's all these nuggets are just amazing. I I feel like also one of the most important sentences in this book is they say, and I'm paraphrasing here, that addiction is not a moral failing. Addiction is not a moral failing. And Gabor Mate says that ask not why the addiction, but why the pain. There's some root cause to the pain. And what I have learned in my short journey with recovery and trauma is that yoga teaches us to breathe through and do some really amazing and deep inner self reflection and compassionate inquiry inside ourselves and asking ourselves why we do certain things, and then pulling back and not shaming ourselves like maybe the rest of the world can do, and we've probably done to ourselves over and over. I know I have, and I'm still learning to not do that, but just this compassionate inquiry that you are a human, you make mistakes, and there's something that's really hurting you, and to try to alleviate the pain. I should say uh, we seek ways to try to not suffer and not have to deal with that pain. And I am a champion at that. And so yoga has been transformational for me personally in helping me through this trauma and through this grief of losing my son and a couple of other lifelong traumas in my life. So I hope you join me today in just this beautiful, delicious practice and just take breaks as needed. I hope that this really lands well for you and helps in your healing. And I really want to help support you in your healing and hope that you cultivate this just inner knowing, this inner peace, this beautiful, beautiful, compassionate inquiry where you really look in and you listen in. So with that, have a comfortable seated position. Sukhasana, sukha meaning easy. I'm going to sit up on a folded blanket just to get my tailbone up off the ground just a little bit. It feels good to me. And before I started using props, and I just tried to kind of plow through, and quite frankly, I could do just about anything because I was young and very fit and kind of, I don't know, egotistical. So I thought that props were just for people that couldn't do the postures. And now I know that they're, even if you can do a posture, it's neat to use props once in a while so that you can, or maybe all the time, for a part of the posture anyway, just to kind of experience it in a different way and create some different muscle memory. All right, so let's sit up tall and take our hands right over our knees. Flutter the eyes closed if that feels right, or maybe just a slightly downward gaze so you're relaxing those eyelids, and then shoulders up, back, and down, and just sit and be grounded into the floor, into the surface. Maybe you're sitting outside on a deck or in the sand, or you're inside on carpeting or rug or your yoga mat on top of some other surface. Just notice that surface and feel your sit bones beneath you. And then as you come up your body, tone through your core and just breathe, but let yourself breathe. I like to tell people, breathe 360 degrees, like fill the front, the sides, and the back ribs. Sometimes we need to be reminded to really take a full, voluminous breath where you're using the volume, your full lung capacity. And then with your hands on your knees, let's draw the heart forward with an inhale. I still have my eyes closed. I invite you to do the same. Exhale back and then fall back on your tailbone a little bit and scrunch. And then inhale, lifting up through the heart, maybe lifting the chin. And then exhaling back, holding onto your knees as you round your spine and tuck your chin and tuck your tailbone. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, delicious big inhale. And then nice exhale back as you contract. Inhale, expand. And exhale, contract. Next, we are going to take you can still sit on your blanket if you can, or just take your hands behind you and fingers towards your rear end and walk your feet to the width of your mat. And just holding yourself here with shoulders down and elbows bent, just drop one knee and then the other. We're just going to kind of open up these hips. Just a gentle little opening here. If this bothers your wrists at all, please feel free to modify if you need to. I really like using wrist wedges for my My students that have wrist pain, and wherever you are, go ahead and bring those legs together and swing around to cat and cow tabletop. So we'll put those wrists and hands underneath the shoulders and then spread your weight between the four corners of your hand and all of your fingers and the backs of your knuckles. So try to not hang out just in your wrist. You want to distribute that weight evenly through the fingers, kind of ground down with the knuckle of your index finger, your pointer finger. And we're going to put the knees right below the hips. Take a deep breath in, lift the chin, lift the tailbone, and then exhale, push up, tuck the chin. Inhale, lift up with the chin and tailbone. Drop your belly. Exhale slowly, moving to that breath, and push your spine up. Pull your chin in, tuck your tailbone. And let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Big breath of air. Exhale, rounding the back. And then inhale, lift. And exhale, under. Beautiful. Okay, tuck your toes. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to push back. And you can get up any way you need to or can. But we're just going to try to push back onto the balls of the feet and then gently rise up to a standing position at the back of your mat. And we're going to take a deep breath in and reach those arms. And then exhale, hands come right into the heart. Hold the hands here and let's just stand in Tadasana for a couple of breaths. So the feet, same thing as with the hands. You want to ground down into the entire foot, including your toes, distributing that weight and kind of gripping a little bit with your toes, not tense, not in a way to be tense, but just in a way to be really engaged and really recruit all those muscles. Let's come up and slightly tuck your tailbone. Bring your heart up to your thumbs. Shoulders are back and down. And slightly tuck your chin. Crown is lifted. Take a deep breath here. Exhale. One more time. Deep breath. Exhale. Go ahead and flutter your eyes open. And today I started talking about recovery yoga for so many different, traumas or griefs or painful moments. This is a great way to really think about this surrendering, if you will, surrendering to being right here, right now, and loving yourself for taking the time to be here right now. All right, so we're still at the back of the mat. Let's take the arms down and let's bring your palms in towards one another, towards your sides, and we're going to sit back in a little chair and then rise up with the arms. And we'll just sit back and then we'll just rise up. Now see if you can take your hips back and arms up, hips back and arms up. Reach tall this time. Flare those fingers open. And then reach as though you are climbing a rope. So you're reaching up, and I'll show you from the front. So instead of it just being the arms that are reaching up, see if you can engage your side body by actually pulling over to the side. Pulling over to the side. Reaching tall, reaching tall. Engaging the core, still squeezing through your bottom. Pull the kneecaps up. Toes are engaged. Reach 2 more times. Lift and lift. Beautiful. Roll those shoulders a couple of times up, back, and down. And reverse. Just feel the delicious movement of those shoulders, and you might hear some crunchies, and that's totally normal. All right, now we're just going to do a little ragdoll. So all you're going to do is swing around and just allow your arms to hang and twirl around you, gently tapping yourself. And then find yourself back in the center. And then take your feet and walk them a little bit closer together, right under your hips. And bend in just a little bit. And send your arms to the sides and down again, as we did before, almost in a forward fold, but you're just going about halfway down, just kind of like in a little half airplane here. And then we're going to come up and we're going to reach up behind us. And we're going to sit back and then take the arms up behind. And so it's kind of like a quasi forward fold, half airplane reach, half baby back bend. All we're doing is we're kind of opening up through the front and the back and allowing those muscles to be lubricated by the synovial fluid, and just really taking gentle care of ourselves today. And one more time. Now hold your arms up. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale your right arm down to your right side. And then inhale that side back up, and then exhale down with your left arm. Just a little side bend. Inhale tall. Exhale right arm down. Inhale arm up. Exhale left arm down. And then inhale, hold both arms up tall, and then bring those hands together at your heart. While you're here, you can also let go. And sometimes it's easier to balance if your hands are at your sides. If you feel like you're okay with your thumbs at your sternum, let's just rise up on each ball of the foot, picking up each heel, rolling through, and then start to sink into your hip as you do that. Sink into your hip and kind of send it back just a little bit, pushing back. A little bit of exaggeration here. Okay, now once you find yourself back in the center from there, bending both knees, we're going to hula hoop to warm up the lower lumbar spine and the hips. And so it's like kind of an exaggerated slow motion hula hoop. We've got this series of circumduction, and then also you've got pelvic tilts. And if you feel awkward, you're not alone. I'm used to it now. But it just feels so good on the low back. And then let's reverse that. So your knees have to bend, and you have to really kind of hold the shoulders sort of still and then round through those hips. Beautiful. Okay, take a deep breath in, reach up to the sky. And then exhale to a forward fold. And on this first one, if you feel like you need to support above the knees, please feel free. Let your head be heavy. So stay down there and maybe even close your eyes. Just notice how that feels. The blood is rushing to the head, stimulating the pituitary gland, the endocrine system, helping with the immune system. There's just so many benefits of yoga. And what I love about these positions where I'm hanging is it feels very much like the blood is rushing to my head, because it is, and it feels awesome. It feels like stimulation for my brain, and boy, does it need it. Okay, now bend into your knees and then start to root down to rise back up and bring your arms way up over your head. And then exhale your hands behind you and take just a gentle clasp of those fingers or interlace, and then gently drive the palms down. Elbows have a slight bend behind you. Shoulders are down. Pull your head in line with your spine. So if you feel like your head's way forward, feel what it feels like to set the brain and the cranium right over your spine. Release that, shake that out, and let's get a few stretches for the fingers. So I like to get every one of them. So the thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. And then let's go with the whole wrist, and then the other direction. And let's get that other hand. Thumb, pointer, middle, ring finger, pinky. And the entire wrist, pulling back on all the fingers. And then other direction. And release that. Roll those shoulders again. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is while you're in your right foot, take your left foot and just set it across on the outside of the right side of the mat onto the floor. Take a deep breath in and reach up. Grab your left wrist with your right hand, and you're going to sink over to the right and then push your left hip over to the left. And you can bend into your right front knee. So it looks like this from the front. Try to exaggerate over to your right. And if you need to go on the ball of the foot, bend your knees more, please feel free. And then reach up, step back in the center. You're still at the back of your mat. Inhale and exhale the arms down and gently take your right foot to the outside of the left, right off of your mat. Reach your arms up, grab your right wrist with your left hand. And as you start to sink over to your left, bend into your left front knee. Do whatever you need to on your back side and see if you can push your right hip over to the right. Take a deep breath. Exhale back to the center and just shake the arms out. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to go for a forward fold again. So take a deep breath in, lift, reaching up. Exhale and forward fold. This time, if you're using blocks, maybe you want to have something to hold on to, or maybe you're still supporting, or maybe you're okay with a full forward fold. Blocks are nice, like I say, to change it up, just so you're not doing the same exact thing every time. Take a deep breath in here. And exhale. One more time, deep breath. And exhale. Set the blocks out to the sides. And we're going to root down to rise to the top. Deep breath in, reaching. And then exhale, hands down into the center. Let's add a little baby back bend to this, just to keep it nice and even. So we'll take a deep breath in, reaching up. And this is spinal extension. Exhale all the way down. All the way down. Flexing the spine. Inhale up, all the way up, reaching arms up. Extension, push the hips forward a little bit, squeeze your bottom, and then exhale all the way down, spinal flexion. One more time, inhale, root down to rise. Spinal extension, we're extending. Exhale all the way down for flexion. Inhale to a half lift. So on a half lift, you can use blocks. You can tent the floor with your fingers, tented. You can palm the floor. Maybe hands come to the shins or way up to the thighs. It's all considered a half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Now, the main thing, wherever you are, just don't put your hands right on your knee joint. But wherever you are, draw your shoulder blades back. Pull your sternum forward. Melt your heart forward. Take a deep breath in. Exhale down to your forward fold. And then inhale and root down to rise to the top. Now, we were there for a moment, so come up slowly, hands to the heart when you find your Tadasana again. So my body just started automatically doing this. So let's do this a few times. Just rolling up onto the balls of the feet and then back on the heels and pick up your toes and the balls of your feet. It's kind of rolling through the fronts and the backs. And then hold yourself here and go left and right. Just, again, sometimes it feels better to have your hands down by your sides for a little protection. All right, we're going to head back down to the ground. So let's make sure the blocks are a little to the side here. Taking a deep breath and reach up. And then we're going to exhale, forward fold. We're still at the back of the mat, but now we're going to bend down and just crouch and walk yourself out onto hands and knees. And from here, I'm going to put my blocks back up at the top of the mat now. From here, what we're going to do are little tail wags. So just open up your sides, kind of feel the body opening up on each side. One side squeezes while the other side opens. And then we're going to take some full body circles. So walk your hands out a little further, and you might have to adjust this a few times. And feel free, you can also put your hands on blocks if it feels better. We're going to take it back and then over to the right and to the front and to the back. And if using blocks is awkward here, just put your hands on the floor. Keep your hands on the floor. I find that I have to adjust my hands a few times, the placement of my hands a few times, so that when I come all the way back, I can be in touch with the floor. And then when I come forward, I have that foundation. Let's reverse and do a few circles in the opposite direction. Again, take your time. Also, if you want to link breath to motion, when you draw your heart forward, you inhale. When you sink back, it's time to exhale if that feels right. I know for some people, they just like to have their own breathing pattern. So whatever works for you, please feel free. Okay. So let's place the hands back underneath. And take your right foot straight out from your right hip. And what we're going to do, you're just going to ground down on the right foot. And you can have the left toes tucked if that feels right. And what we're going to do is move backward and front. And one of the things here that I kind of like to do is almost like a cat-cow, like drawing the heart forward and then sinking back, and heart forward and sinking back. But whatever you do, just notice your inner thigh stretching every time you draw those hips to the back. Let's hold the hips back and just open up that right inner thigh. Just kind of feel it stretching. And then take that right foot and take it all the way across and land it at the back corner, left corner, somewhere around there, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, but somewhere around there. And now start moving through heel toe. This is where I like to untuck my left toes. And just, I'm trying to get a calf stretch here through my right calf. Pushing back. And let's hold it there for a moment, just a static stretch. And nice. Okay, so let's give the wrists a little rest. And you can sit however you feel comfortable. I'm going to sit on my feet, but I know that's not possible for some people. It's too uncomfortable. It might be too much of an angle. I've shown a lot of my students to take a blanket and set it behind your thighs, and you can have it bent. I'm bent, folded so many times that it's nice and thick. And this is just much more comfortable because it decreases the joint, the knee angle. So please feel free to sit on a blanket if that feels better. But let's give our wrists a little love here, a little stretch. And this is just, again, this delicious awakening of all of the pieces and parts, and using our breath and helping our parasympathetic nervous system to regulate. All right, so let's get that other side. Hands and knees. And we're going to take the left leg and we're going to send it straight out and ground down. And then we'll start to work back and front. And again, you can go straight back and straight front. Or if it feels like you want to use a little bit of a cat-cow, you can do a little To kill two birds with one stone, as they say. Oh my gosh. Some of these sayings that I grew up with, they're just not right anymore. I don't want to kill two birds. I want them to live. So forgive me. But this just goes to show you, you know, you can teach an old dog new tricks, but slowly, slowly we learn. All right, back we go. Hips back. Just I'm really trying to feel this in my left inner thigh, and boy do I. All right, so hold that for another breath. And then gently lift up your left leg and take it to the right back corner area and start to work through that calf front and back. A little bit forward, a little bit back, pushing, pulling. And then release that, and we'll have a seat again, and let's give those wrists some more love and just stretch those wrists. Yes, recovery and surrender. Miracles happen. They do when we least expect them. It's one of the most beautiful parts of this journey. Just no expectations, right? We'll just breathe, do the work, feel the feelings to the best of our ability, let them go when we can't, ask for help, and then just breathe. That's what helps me. Okay, let's take it down to the ground and get our back opened up a little bit. So let's just take it down to the elbows and forearms and just bring yourself back gently until you're on your stomach, and you want to make it so your shoulders and elbows are lined up. And then once you are in your position, draw the shoulder blades back. Now, I know this is really tough for a lot of people because this works the erector spinae muscles. They're part of the core group, by the way, on the back. Some of them go right up and down the spine, all the way up to the neck. And so we want to really work these muscles and keep them strong so that we have good back health. But they don't just move for us overnight, so it takes practice. So hold your heart up and forward, shoulders down and back, chin tucked slightly. If you want a little more, push the tops of your feet into the ground so much so that your knees might even come off the floor. And then just take a little break. Like, let yourself relax. Make a pillow with your hands. Set your forehead there. Maybe use your block. See, again, the blocks are really nice because then you can just let go and really relax. I have a lot of my students using them now, and they'll use them and for part of it and then put them back and use them for part of it and then put them to the side. Really encourage you to try it. Let's take one more deep breath. Okay, from here, let's set our forehead on the ground. And I want you to see if you can reach back with your hands, palms up, and then draw your left knee close. See if you can touch your foot or come close. See if you can maybe hold on to your left ankle. And then if not, you just reach toward it. That's all. And then let's try the right side. Pull that right leg in, that right foot in. And then rise your right hand and see if you can reach for that ankle. If you can grab it, great. If not, great. And then release that. And then just renegotiate your head, your forehead position if it needs to be. And let's draw both feet in and then reach both hands back and just see if you can reach for those ankles. Now, please just close your eyes and just reach for them as best you can. If you can, grab onto them. See if you can lift your head and then gently lift yourself up into bow, Dhanurasana. Deep breath. Exhale down. And let's try that one more time. Inhale and then exhale up. Stay here for one inhale. exhale, bring yourself back down. Beautiful. And extend the legs back down. Plant the hands underneath just behind your shoulders. Plug in your elbows and gently push yourself up. We'll do 3 baby cobras, lifting up and then exhale down. So we on the inhale, peel off your forehead and then peel your chest. And then maybe at the last you push in. Keep your elbows close to your rib cage. One more time, inhale, peel, lift, push, and release. Now let's take child's pose. So come up to hands and knees, and let's go knees wide, feet together for extended child's pose. And you can maybe tent the fingers and drop your chest down. Now this is another one where if you need to put a blanket behind your thighs, or maybe you want to put a blanket under your face, your forehead. Maybe you like to turn your palms up and give those shoulders a little external rotation, and the wrists. However you decide to land in your balasana, your child's pose, I want you to really think about nothing but breathing. See if you can expand your rib cage across the back. Just some delicious big breaths. Nice and slow. Surrendering into the floor. Allowing your body to be heavy, melting into the floor like ice to water. And allowing the rib cage to expand and get larger on those inhales. And knitting the ribs together as you exhale, those intercostal muscles that work to help us breathe. In between every rib, muscles. Inhale deeply. Exhale deeply. One more time. Okay, gently bring yourself back up to a seated position. And at the back of your mat, extend your legs out in front of you towards the front of the mat. And find your sit bones and just get comfy. And if it feels good for you to kind of pull the skin out from underneath your thighs, please feel free. A lot of people like to do that. It makes it so much more comfortable so they're not pinching the skin under there. Now let's flex and point a few times. And continue to point. And let's take a deep breath in. Reach those arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Now, this is another one where I like to just kind of hover first. And then as I'm ready, I'll go ahead and melt out over my legs. This is another place you can use a blanket. You can put it really close to decrease that angle. You can put it out further to rest your head. I don't know about you guys, but I had a blankie when I was a kid, and I had it for a long time, probably longer than is considered normal or appropriate. But boy, that was my blankie, and it was such a source of comfort and safety for me. Rise back up to a nice tall seated position, and we're going to do a little seated twist. So pull your left foot in and bring it as close as you can. Now, we're going to all be different. My foot might be closer than yours. Yours might be way closer than mine. Get it as close to you as you feel comfy. And then let's just use our hands around the shin, and we'll do some cat-cows here. So inhale, pull the shoulders down. Exhale as you round back. Inhale, pull the shoulders down, and then exhale back. Stay active in your right toes, pointing. Inhale, tall. Exhale, collapse back. One more time. Inhale, tall. Exhale, back. Now, if you can, sit up even taller and take your right hand around your left knee and then take your left hand behind you and see if you can sit up tall and just gently twist yourself around. Maybe you give a little mudra here with your thumb and your pointer finger, your index finger. Take your chin as far as it will go. Breathe. And exhale, release. And let's take the other side in. Pull the right side in, point the toes on that left side. Be mindful about being kind of active in your feet, even when you're not using them. Pulling yourself tall, and then exhaling back. Pulling tall up as high as you can go, and exhaling back. 2 more. Inhale tall, exhale small. Last time. Inhale tall, exhale small. And then when you get back up there as tall as you can, see if you can wrap that left hand around your left elbow and then use your right arm behind you. Try to keep your shoulder down, elbow bent. Bring your chin around as far as you can. Renegotiate, point those toes on that left side, and just gently stretch. Breathe. I've got my Anahata candle, the heart chakra candle, burning here in the window. Release. Now let's try that forward fold again and see if we can get a little further. Take a deep breath in, reach. And then exhale, forward fold, maybe hovering, and then taking another try and lowering down and breathing. Release that, and then come back up and draw the left foot into the inner thigh of the right leg, sitting up tall, and a one-legged forward fold. Reach up, inhale, exhale, pointing those toes. Take it as low as you can go comfortably, and breathe. Take some really deep, delicious breaths in and out. And bring yourself back up. I just was reminded of my beautiful earrings also. Other side, extend the left side, right foot to the left inner thigh, point the toes. I have these handmade beaded indigenous Karuk tribe Bonnie's beads. Bonnie made these, and she's just a lovely, lovely indigenous woman here who creates these incredible designs, and I just love them. So I'm just going to give a shout out to Bonnie's Beads here in Wairika, California. Inhale, exhale forward. Bring yourself down as low as you can go comfortably. And I'm finding my right hip is really tight, so I cannot get as far on this side. They're really interesting when we find our spots that need to have a little more love and attention. No judgment. And up we go. Excellent. And let's try Baddha Konasana. So since we're working on these hips, bottoms of the feet together, knees wide. And this is another one where if it feels like, oh, you can't even get there, just bring yourself up on a blanket. Oops. And then take Baddha Konasana. Might be a little more doable. And then you lean in gently. Now, we never force, but you might gently press. Try to keep the spine long. Apple under the chin, so you've got your airway open, but you're not lifting your chin. You've got it in neutral. Nice. Okay, release that. So we're going to do just one little up and down again. I wanted to give the shoulders a break, but we'll go into a down dog. Tuck the toes. A break on this. We haven't used them today. I'm just giving them a break in this practice today. So elbows are the inner aspects of the elbows turn toward one another slightly, and you bend your elbows slightly. Puff up your back, tone your abdominals, take a deep breath in. Exhale up into down facing dog. So let's walk this down facing dog, one heel down then the other. And remember, we talked about earlier distributing your weight between your wrist, the four corners of your hand. There's an arch in your hand. Keep that arch. And then pressing down into all your fingers and the backs of your knuckles so that the weight is evenly distributed. Now, when you're ready, lift up on both balls of the feet. Tuck down your head even lower, hips even higher. And then as you're ready, send the heels towards the ground. Open the knees if you can. Bending generously if you need to. Opening if you don't need to. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, bend your knees, look between your thumbs, and we're going to tippy toe to the top of the mat. Just little steps until you're standing all the way to the top of the mat. Standing, forward, fold. Now we're getting ready to rise to the top. So bend into your knees, push into your feet, root down to rise up as you come all the way up to a standing Tadasana, hands to the heart, and just breathe. All right. Let's stay here for 2 breaths. One more. We're going to take one little opportunity for a balance posture here. So let's lift up the left heel and stay rooted in your right foot. Right knee is bent, and I like to bounce a little bit. Lifting up, if you can, your left knee and just holding that. Now, if you need to hold on to practice, please do so. And then if you're okay here and you want to try a little challenge, take your right hand on the outside of your left knee. And then see if your left arm will go behind you. And then if you still have a little bit left, see if you can look around at your left hand or towards it. And then release that, set down those feet, and let's take a big breath in and an audible exhale. One more time, inhale. Audible exhale. It's a great stress reliever. Okay, lifting up that right heel, buoyant in your left knee. Lift up your right knee and hold that if that's possible. If it's possible to keep your foot into your other knee, that's great. If you need to just hold it out here, that's fine too. And then see if you want to take that little twist. Left hand on the outside, right hand behind. And we look around if that's possible at the right hand or towards it. And then bring yourself back to the center. And a big breath in again, deep breath. Edible. Wow, audible. Exhale. One more. Inhale and exhale. Okay, we're going to go back down to the ground now and take our final postures. So take a deep breath and reach. Big breath. Sweep those arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Let's hold this for a moment and grab opposite elbows and ragdoll. Just taking yourself side to side here. Swinging, allowing freedom of movement through your spine. Your head is heavy, neck is long. And then release, plant your hands and step back to hands and knees. And then we are going to take our final postures. So you are welcome to grab a drink, do anything you need to do. Maybe grab your socks or a sweatshirt or your blanket if you like to use those during Shavasana. And we are going to end with a couple of postures before Shavasana. So let's take ourselves let's do a bridge here. Palms down. And we're just going to gently keep your feet pretty close to your rear end, and then we lift up the hips into the bridge, and then exhale back down. Inhale up. Now this takes a lot of work, right? Tuck your chin, lift your hips, and then back down. And let's try that one more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. And then if you want to go up and hold your bridge, feel free. I also want to show you if you do have blocks and you're holding your bridge, so breathe and maybe take a bind underneath. You can maybe take your hands and roll under your shoulders, and that's a lot of work. So only hang on there for a second, but you can also place a block underneath your tailbone. And it's still a bridge because you're lifted, but it's different because you're not pushing to hold yourself up. This is more of a restorative posture, just to hang here, and it just helps to open up your spine. Another thing you can do if you want to support is to extend the legs, and then you've got this opening of your hip flexors also. And so, again, just another plug for maybe grabbing yourself a set of blocks, because they just really are game changers in helping you to elevate your yoga practice if you want to. All right, let's pull the knees into the chest. And if you were holding your bridge that whole time, I'm so sorry. Come on down. Knees into the chest. Maybe tuck your chin and give yourself a hug. And then let's set the feet, drop the knees wide with the bottoms of the feet together, cactus arms, Baddha Konasana legs. And let's take a deep breath. And while you're here, think about really melting into the floor. And if that doesn't make sense, you're letting go with every breath, especially on the exhales. Finding stillness. Allowing, surrendering, accepting. And then if any of those don't land, you get to also reject and just feel it when you're ready, right? You get to let that just deflect and accept it when you're ready. Draw the knees together, walk your feet to the width of the mat, drop the knees together, and just hold this stretch. I like to walk my feet even further apart so I get a little more opening of my hips there. And just breathe. Keep the knees there and take the arms way up over your head, and then just kind of let them come back where they may. They may end up just in a cactus again. Spread your fingers wide, open your toe box, open everything, all your digits, and then relax. And then bring your arms back into your sides, walk your feet together, and let's pull the knees into the chest one last time and tuck up. And then extend your legs down, and we'll take Shavasana. And there are so many ways that you can lie here. You can lie on your side in the embryonic position. You can take traditional Shavasana with the legs down and arms down to the sides. Maybe you like, for your back, maybe it feels better to go back to that knee knock together with the feet wide. And I've been finding for Shavasana, I really like my arms in cactus because it helps to open up my chest, my pectoralis muscles. So we'll be here for a couple of minutes. I'm going to read a little bit, and I want you to just relax and breathe and just let yourself melt into the ground and soften. Soften your between your eyebrows. Soften your jaw. Let your jaw just relax. Maybe part your teeth slightly. Or maybe you like to bring just a little smile to your lips. Hmm. I'm going to read the following affirmations and feel free to just let them land and sink in. And you can let them land and sink in and also repeat them to yourself if that feels right. I love and approve of myself. I see myself and what I do with eyes of love. I deserve to rejoice in life. I accept all the pleasure life has to offer. I deserve to rejoice in life. I release the old and welcome the new. I am flexible. I am safe. I am one with all of life. I create a life filled with rewards. I'm going to say that one again. I create a life filled with rewards. I am blessed. I'll call you out in 1 minute. Just let that land however it may. Taking a nice deep breath in, gently letting it go. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed as long as you like, and maybe stay in Shavasana if you like. If you're ready to start wiggling fingers and toes and coming out of it, draw the knees into the chest. And then bring yourself over to the embryo position, embryonic position, fetal position. Take a deep breath there. And as you're ready, bring yourself up to a seated position. Any comfortable sukhasana that you like. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed if you like. Bring your hands to your heart. Thank you so much for practicing today. I hope you enjoyed this gentle, savory, slow-moving, delicious practice today with lots of love and lots of energy towards recovery and towards really surrendering to it all and not trying to force things, and really want to emphasize compassionate inquiry, really looking in and listening in. What do you want? What do you need? A lot of times nobody asked us that growing up or ever. And so I love yoga because that is a constant question. What do you need? What do you want to be happy, to survive? Mm. Loving that inner self. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm blessed that you were here. I will see you next time. Take care of you. Namaste. If you found today's practice helpful, please subscribe so that you're notified of my next video. Thank you.